Hello, all my earth signs. Welcome to your weekly reading. And this is all for my Tauruses, my Virgos, my Capricorns. Welcome. And we're going to be focusing on the week of September 5th to September 12th. But if you're coming across this reading outside of that time frame, of course, the Creator, Spirit, they're not bound by time or space. So if your intuition and your gut brought you here and you felt nudged, I would definitely listen and watch, because obviously there's going to be messages there for you. So you continue on. If you are listening to this or watching this between September 5th and September 12th, the big day that I'm looking at is September 6th, which is the Monday, which happens to be Labor Day in the United States. And it's also, of course, the Virgo new moon. And this energy that's bringing in for us this week is kind of, which way do I go? Which way do I go? What do I do? There's this big push, from Spirit to reflect. Look at where you've come from, and are you where you want to be? And there's this energy to reflect and see where you're going to go next. I did create a video for each individual zodiac sign for the Virgo new moon, and I'll throw that at the end of the video here. There's a playlist if you want to check that out. Feel free to do so. But we're going to jump in for this week and see what message the Creator has for all the earth signs. And I'm going to pull a card here from the Sacred Creators Oracle. And this is just going to be what generally for the entire week the Creator wants you to be aware of. All right, for our earth signs, what do you want them to know about this week, Creator? Okay, I feel like this is the one right here. It says, befriend the word polarize. And that's card number 25. And let's see what this card has for you. So the essential meaning of this card is it's a display of your inner truth, bravery to share your personal flavor and your true opinions, movement towards a goal, opposing forces, transitions, growth, taking a stand, and personal empowerment. The self-care message that comes from this card is looking after others at your own expense, worrying about being accepted, being vanilla in order to appeal to everyone, and the fear of making waves and being seen. So those are the things that are impacting your self-care. It's basically your self-sacrificing your dreams, your uniqueness, your originality to fit in, to think that you're so powerful that your actions, impact everyone else's life. Ooh, I know, I used to feel that way too, that surely I can, my actions are creating ripples across the world in such importance. If I leave this company, they're going to go, bankrupt, and then I leave and they're fine. It's like this beautiful awareness that it's humbling on one hand, because you're like, well, I don't have as much of an impact on the world as I thought I did, but it also frees you to connect to the real you, get away from all those expectations and all that suppressing beliefs about yourself on who you should be and need to be and have to be and supposed to be. And then it's funny because then once you connect to the real you, like I was talking about, your true opinions, the true you, the capital T truths within you, not the small t truths of the ego, but the capital T truths of the real you inside. When you start living that, then that energy you put out is all about unconditional love, and that sparks people's hearts. When you're over here trying to change people from the outside in through the ego, it doesn't work out too well. But when you're living a life of love, living what you love with your passion and letting that go out, that love that you share sparks people's hearts. And that's what changes worlds, is when people have a change of heart, not a change of mind. A change of heart then takes over their whole being, and then it reflects out into the world. So it's from the inside out. Okay. It also says, Polarize isn't a bad word. Great leaders are not selling safe, usual, everyday ideas. It's time to bravely put your truth and your wisdom out on display in order to find those individuals who totally love what you're saying. Finding those soulful kindreds may mean that there will be others who disagree with you and with what you're all about. And that's okay. It's time to get comfortable with this possibility and steer clear of any safely watered down vanilla choices that are meant to keep you palatable and liked. You are anything but average, so don't hide your powerful message from the world by trying to appeal to the taste of the masses. Growth and change are, by nature, uncomfortable for some people, and your particular brand of magic won't be perfect for everyone. Your people will feel compelled by your authentic stories, your authentic courage, your authentic vulnerability, and your authentic honesty. Be courageous and allow your unique flavor of awesome sauce to shine through. You'll attract people who are fiercely in love with what you're up to, and your heart will feel so full that the light of the world will spill forth from your joy. Exactly what we were talking about, right? And then they have these questions. How can you speak more honestly and directly in your life? Is there something about yourself that you've been hiding in order to play it safe in the world? What are you opaquing? What about you could shine a little more brightly? Rewrite your bio for your eyes only. No one else will see it, so let it flow. Some starting points. What do you stand for? What fires you up? What are your dreams? Oh, there's a few more. What do you see that needs to be changed in the world? What petitions do you passionately sign and share? What is it about this big, beautiful life that you do anything for? Beautiful. Great questions, and definitely, I love this, that instead of towing the line and being wishy-washy with, living our lives, this is telling us to find your inner truth. What is your authentic self? And then go for it. There's a saying, it's like, find out what you want your life to stand for and then commit to do everything you can to do that, instead of wandering around just trying to, appease everyone around you, trying to please all the people all the time. Oh, exhausting, right? It's like, you know what? You're not going to please all the people all the time. And there's this story that the Spirit brought to my remembrance when a situation like this was coming to me, and they were like, remember back when you first, I think I was maybe 19 years old, and I was growing my first facial hair, and I was going to grow a goatee. And I was gone for a week on a vacation. I came back and I hadn't, shaved or anything like that. And people were like, oh, it was like this, all in the same day. I had 6 people mention my facial hair to me. One of them was of course, the ones we like to hear is oh, wow, that looks great. That looks great. And I'm oh, thank you. And then of course the other people are oh, it's good, but you should grow a full beard. And then other people are I like you clean shaven. I like you better clean shaven, right? And other people, you should just have a mustache. And then some people are oh no, don't do that. Just have, those long sidebars or whatever they call them, handlebar, sideburns. And so everyone had an opinion about my facial hair, which is hilarious thinking about. But I also realized that I'm not going to be able to please like 5 out of the 6 of those people, you know? And so if I'm going to let that many people down, what's one more to let them down? And I'm going to choose what I want and the rest of them can just deal with it. And that's, you know, kind of this feeling that I have around this is like, you know what? You can't please all the people all the time. You, look at what brings you joy, what makes your heart sing, and then polarize yourself to expressing that truth with the world. And that won't be based on ego. So if it's about defensiveness and something of fear and anxiety, that's not your authentic self. That's your human ego in fight or flight mode, the animal part of us trying to survive. That's not your authentic self. It's about getting quiet, getting to your heart, your higher heart, you know, this is a pink quartz, you know, heart. This is your higher spirit heart. What do you truly want? You know, that's what you find, and that's what you polarize to. We're going to find out more here. We're going to pull some cards here from this Rider-Waite Tarot too, and just see what additional message the Creator has for you this week about this polarization. All right, Creator, what else do you want art or science to know about this week, please? Okay. Well, okay. Okay, anything else? Okay, one more. Yep, so we have the Three of Pentacles. And this is so perfect for this message because here you are doing your work. And you're going to have people that are going to come and they're either going to support you or they're going to like naysay and try to be dream crushers. There's this one deck that has, you know, like this you in the middle, and they have one person on this side and one person on that side. And it's kind of like you're still facing one way, or like there's someone behind your back and someone in front of you. And the message that came, which they're bringing back to me now, is this feeling of, you know, there's people that will talk bad about you behind your back and that will stab you in the back, and that will not support your dream and what you want to do. And like this card was saying, get used to it. You're not going to please all the people all the time. And you're going to exhaust yourself if you ever try to do that, because everyone has different opinions and a lot of people have contradictory opinions. So, you know, if you bump into two people at the same time that have opposite, you know, expectations of you, who you're going to be? Are you going to blow up like one of those fembots in Austin Powers where your head shakes and you go, because you're like, I don't know who I'm supposed to be right now. Instead, you become your authentic self, right? And the other thing that that card is that even the person praising you is this, can be this obstacle for you, because if you are desiring to please people more than living your passion, when people praise you and they're like, oh, that's so great and everything, you know what you could do too is da 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 da, you start to feel like, well, I don't want them to change from that supporting camp to the stabbing in my back camp, so maybe I should do what they're saying. You know, you feel this draw away from living your passion and your authentic self to living what they want. And so I love that this is about living your you know, making your authentic self and your dreams your priority. And, you know, looking at people who praise you and people who try to stomp your dream as the same. It's opinion, and I'm not going to make that my worth. I'm not going to make that my drive and my goal. My goal is not to please people. My goal is to find my authentic dream and live it, right? Yeah. And here you go. So here's movement. Six of Swords is about your mind, your thoughts, your mindsets, your attitudes, your expectations. And this is showing that you're moving from old beliefs to new beliefs. Your thoughts are changing, and it also means movement in your life in some way. So, it can be movement of thoughts, but it can be movement from jobs. It can be movement from relationships to relationships, from a job to a job, from a home to a different home, so it's a movement of that sort that happens. And that's what happens when you polarize. You get moving. You don't stay in the middle of the river. You choose a side. What side are you going to go to? Where are you going to choose? You're moving out of the stagnant. It's not even a river anymore. You're just in this pond that's still the stagnant lake that has no more fresh running water moving into it, right? And so it's just the stagnant water, and you're moving. You need to move off of it to shore, to go to new places. And this is what this feels like, is this movement. And here's Page of Swords. So they wield this Ace of Swords, which is what you use to cut away old ways of thinking, to cut away those things that no longer serve you. And because, again, swords are all about your mindsets and beliefs. And so those things that no longer serve you, you can cut them and move on from them. The page also represents communication, right? Pages were in like the old movies of the hear ye, blah, 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 So this means there's messages coming to your mind because this is the swords. So you're going to be having these aha moments, this inspiration come into your mind. And they can be initiated by spirit. A lot of times spirit will tap our brain and almost play it like a piano sometimes. They'll like this memory and this memory and this memory and this memory all come together and we're like, oh, aha, but each individual memory itself doesn't bring the aha. But suddenly we're remembering all this stuff and we're seeing a pattern and we're going, wow, and this kind of happens too. What I love also is that a page is usually a young person. I usually get the message that pages are children. And it's about returning back to this place of newness and freshness. When you're a young child, your mind is this open sponge that you're just like open to hearing, and that's kind of some of our downfall because we get all these expectations and opinions from everyone that we just blindly take on as our own. But we can return back to the sponge place of where we are open-minded and we're not so stubborn in our beliefs and thinking, and we don't hold on so tight to something that we're not willing to let go of it. And so it's kind of like this polarization is, this magnet is pulling you and you're holding on for dear life. And it's, it's like a pole and you're wrapping on the pole and you're like, your feet and legs are in the air getting dragged and pulled so strongly to your authentic, soul and your authentic passion in your life that, it's like when you let go, you move towards, this movement towards your goal just naturally happens because at this point in your life, living the life that everyone else wants you to live, not really pleasing you, right? Right, and then the final card for this, don't be afraid. This is just your shadow. This is your ego. And they're actually your helpmate, because what they do is they will bring to your face and show you what it is that's binding you, what it is that's keeping you, in this place where you're in the middle, kind of like I was talking about with that pole, but instead of a pole, it's this chain, and you're just, it's keeping you stuck, and you can't move, to this other place. And they do this as a service to us. They're letting us know what is holding us and they're holding up this mirror to us. And the great thing about what the shadow does for us too, they don't do it subtly, like I was talking about where, when spirit taps all these memories to bring us this aha. Well, this comes from the outside. You start to see all these interactions that happen. And so you'll get it from like 5 different places, from 5 different individuals that don't even know each other. And they're either going through the same thing, or you're interacting with them in the same way, and you're having this altercation or conflict with them. An example for me is, in a matter of like a week and a half, I had a friend who their husband passed away, had a friend whose father passed away. My mom had a neighbor who passed away. I had a friend whose one of their dear friends tried to take their life, and I had another friend who someone very meant something in their life to them passed away. And so you realize you're like, and these were not like all related to any viruses and stuff going out there. They were all for different reasons, and you're like, well, I think I see something that I think I have a message coming. And so this is the kind of messages that are coming, and it's to show you what is restricting you and what's keeping you from moving to what you truly love and what your passion is. So I love this message for you. Lastly, we're going to pull a From the Heart card here, and just see what the final message the Creator has for all our Earth signs for this week. What's the final message for all our Earth signs? Okay. And you got here, it says, I acknowledge and accept emotions as they arise within me without prejudice or judgment. Yeah, and it's beautiful because don't judge yourself for everything that you've experienced up to this point. It's not like, okay, finally, I'm reaching this point in my life. It's like, you know what? You were on the perfect path. You were always on the cruise of your life that you've been wanting to be on. It had all the stops. You've experienced everything you wanted to experience to get you to this point in your life. And you understand a lot about who you are by experiencing who you aren't, and also experiencing who you are in situations. And so this clarity that's coming is beautiful. Just feel the emotions. And I love, actually the fire signs got this too, and one of the kind of messages is because theirs was about unsticking the stuck, and this kind of feels a little bit that way, where you're stuck in the middle and you're being pulled in a direction. It's like, let yourself be pulled, let that emotion flow and allow it to take you to where you want to go. Let your emotions be flags so that something can be looked at inside of you. And if you're waking up going, ugh, I don't want to go to work today, I don't want to go do that, that's a sign that you're not living your passion, that you're living someone else's passion, right? So I love this, finding your authentic truth, finding what you authentically want, and making that your, polarization. Like the poles, North and South Pole, magnetic north, we have a compass and it points to north. So find out what your north is and make that what keeps you headed toward it. Let that be, your true north. And so whenever you're questioning whether you should or shouldn't do something in your life, you can ask yourself, well, does that help me get, towards my dream, towards my goal? Is that, according to my direction I want to head? And if it's like, well, no, then it can help you decide, well, then I don't want to. I want to invest in it. Or you might have a choice between two things. One is totally in line with where you want to go, the other isn't. And then you're like, oh, it's an easy choice. This is the one I want, right? So it's that kind of feel that I'm feeling for you. Beautiful, beautiful. And then I'm going to leave it at that. Just know as you go throughout this week, my beautiful earth signs, that you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things, and I love you too. You have an amazing week, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon. You take care.